we decided to make the attic into a place to be for Richard and for me. Look how tall the steps are. And when we lived here, all of these walls and ceiling were covered in framed drawings of Heather's. And they were so beautiful to look at. I loved coming down the back stairwell because I got to see all of Heather's drawings, and they were very special. Okay, and so see this beautiful cupola up there? Well, look at all the painting in the upper part, if you can see that, way up in the upper parts there. And then down lower, it has all these little pots of ours, little teapots, and flat, it's all painted. Well, now, do you notice that those windows up there open with a handle opener? Imagine how hard it would be to climb up there and open those windows. So, you see those two hooks, two screw eyes up in the beam across there? Well, what was hanging from there was a long rope ladder. The width of those, it came all the way down here. And right here, there was a wide board. You can see where I'm going with this, I think. There was a wide board, and the first ladder rung started up about here. So, I used to hold on to the ladder. All the rungs of the ladder went all the way up, and I would put my legs through and sit on the board on the bottom, and I would swing, and all the ladders were just going with me, the whole thing, and I would swing all the way back here until it touched the rest of the gable, and then all the way through here, and went out, all the way out, and then all the way back. It was so much fun. And just imagine out here. It was so much fun. Well, anyway, it's not here anymore. So nobody can open those windows at the moment. But at least we know how it used to be. This was the attic. And it was full of things, as you can imagine. So we had to do something with them. So we just started incorporating them into our everyday life. And you know, when you think of it, what you have in the attic, if it's not something you treasure, then you probably should let someone else take care of it. And if you do treasure it, you should incorporate it into your everyday life. Oh, this is actually, there's another one here. These are thistles that we made. And the way that all of these beautiful wood objects were sent to us from far, far away, many lands away across the seas, is wrapped in these beautiful woven mats. This was their packing material. And so all the things that we made overseas, these are all hand carved actually. And you know, they used broken glass as sandpaper. They had just little chips of glass, and they'd sit down and polish and clean out the cuts and make everything done with broken glass. And these are all hand carved, these beautiful thistles. And then wrapped in these beautiful pieces of matting. And these are the same mats that they sleep on at night. So they just, in their little cottages, they have just a dirt floor because they live on the equator where the weather really doesn't ever change except during monsoon season. And so most of the time it's rather the same temperature, so they don't need as many winter blankets or summer linens and winter linens and all the things that we need here. So they just have these wonderful mats that they roll up and then roll out when it's time to go to sleep. And all of these boards that you see here, this was the attic. See the pegs that hold them together? Some of the pegs, see there's another peg and more pegs up here. And all of these pegs held the house together. So isn't it amazing that this whole house was held together by pegs in wooden beams, hand-hewn wooden beams. And then in the new generation, when we came to be up here, we needed cupboard space. So we had all these little cupboards made and drawers so that it all fits perfectly into the space, even cupboards that would go behind the chimney here. So there was lots of space to store things. And this was done by a local carpenter. And he did a beautiful job, didn't he? Look at all that. It's so precious. Well, then, if we just turn around, my friends, and look this way, oh, I can show you. See, this is the old door, you know, that was up here into another cupboard in here. And we have all kinds of beautiful shelving that we made also. But then we just made this frame to fit the best we could around it. And we had this armoire here, which is a perfect thing to have in your bedroom, right? It's where you can hang all of your clothes. Well, this armoire actually was passing through to where we hang all of our clothes. So we step up here, over the little mountain here, and down on the other side. And remember how I told you that the boards were much bigger on the upper level of the house because they thought of them as less precious than narrow boards? So look, well, you can just see in general, oh, you can't really see it very well because we've built all this out. But, is that a bird? That's amazing. That is incredible. Do you think there really is? It sounds like a chipmunk, doesn't it? But it's just me. Okay, the performance is over. Anyway, this board was not this way when we lived here. So that's just what time gives you. Wonderful surprises. Well, this was our lavatory then. This was a cupboard where some of Richard's things were hung, as well as the one I just showed you inside. And this was the head. And this is the shower. And we made all, oh, isn't it fun singing in the shower? Woo! I love it. Oh, I haven't done that in such a long time. Well, anyway, look at these beautiful thistle ceramic pieces. We made those. You can look closely at them if you like. Okay, you know what? I'm going to show you the rest of this room from in the shower because it's so much prettier to hear the ideas from in here. Look at this little cupboard. I love this one. I love it. This is where I used to store all my things. I wonder what's in here now. Some more things. But the little things like that I'd forgotten all about until now. Okay. And then we just used this wallpaper that we liked with this space of the boards and everything. So it's fun. This is a painting that our friends have put up. Isn't that beautiful in here? How it matches the colors of the flora and all of it. Oh, it's beautiful. I wonder who Ruth Robinson is. I love that. And these curtains are so pretty. Anyway, it's not exactly how it was when we were here. Oh, but this door is the same. Isn't it gorgeous? I always loved that door. It's just amazing. It's a masterpiece of time. Nobody knew it was going to be this beautiful when they first painted it. And now look at it. And it stayed all together. It's wonderful. And another pocket door. That's one of our favorite inventions. Okay, turn out the lights. And we'll head on to the next section. Now this is... This is very different than how it was when I was here. But this was my dressing room, and it was a wonder. But this is more of a little storage room for our friends. And but I want to show you a couple of things here. If you come in close, you'll see more of what is good to show. This dresser was an old dresser that we had, and it was just a plain old dresser, and it wasn't in very good shape. But when we went on an adventure in the darkest of Alaska, we were dropped off by a seaplane in the middle of a lake, in the middle of Alaska. It was quite an adventure. It was so much fun. But one of the things we found in abundance there was all these birch trees. And the birch, it's not hurting the tree because the birch naturally falls off the trees every season. And these big, scrolls of birch would just be falling at our feet. And so Richard packed up much of them, and he came here and he covered this. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful, the color? He covered this whole dresser with birch. Isn't it beautiful? And it's still in perfect condition since the very first day. You can look at the side of it too, over here. Oh, I'm just in wonder of it still. And such beautiful, to take a kind of classic dresser, with claw feet down here, the little claw legs, and little scrolls at the top of the pilasters here, and then to make it into something from the woods, from the middle of the woods of Alaska, is amazing. And all these little frames, isn't it beautiful? I just love it. It's the one thing that I really miss. It doesn't suit with Yankee, but it's so perfect here. It belongs here, right here. And see, all my walls were made of cedar, so I didn't have any moths. All the walls and ceiling, everything was cedar. And this is, you can't see it now because there's something here, but my ironing board was hiding in here for doing touch-up ironing for my ribbons or my blouses or something. This opened, and inside is a pop-down ironing board, and up in the top shelf, a little iron. It was great. I loved it up here. And all my shoes would be in those little cubbies. It's very different now, but let's come in here and look at these. Okay, these are all the things in the attic that we just didn't know how we could live with them. So I made a whole mosaic of my whole story of my life. This is a funny thing that I made when I was a little girl. I made it to look like an owl, and it had two little legs, and it had a base. I don't know what happened to the base, but I was so proud of myself that I turned a 2x4 into an owl. But now that I look at it, I think it looks just like a 2x4. It's so funny. And then everything here is so amazing. Okay, this is something that we used to make. Every summer we made these. Here's another one over here, see? Those are woven lavender sachets where we would pick a bunch of lavender with long stems, and then we would bend all the tops of the lavender over and turn it upside down so all the flowers were inside the stems, and then we would weave ribbon in and out, in and out, in and out, all the way down, and then pull it tight at the end and tie it into a bow. So inside, what makes this bulky are the actual lavender flowers that are in there. Isn't that amazing? We used to do that every summer when we were little. And then, oh, there's just so much. I can't tell you everything, but I can tell you this, oh, it's rotting. This was my bathing cap for when I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer. When I was in California, when I was a young girl, I used to work out at 4 a.m. every morning before school. I had to ride my bike down this dirt path way far away, wearing, at the time, all they had were big sweatpants that were gray and sweatshirts, but they weren't made for little girls. They were only made for boys, big boys and men. They didn't really have things like that were practical for girls then. To the pool. This is Northern California, so it's cold in the morning in the school year. And then my hair would be sopping wet. And even though my hair was dark hair, it turned dark green because of the chlorine. And then after school, I went there and swam and worked out. And guess who my coach was? My coach was a great big dog. It was, what do you call those dogs? A Saint Bernard. It was a Saint Bernard dog. And she used to run the length of the pool and back again, and I had to keep up with her, which I couldn't. But I did the best I could. And she was right, and her masters were Alan Della Seahorn, and they were both world champions in the Olympics in swimming. So anyway, I was supposed to become a professional swimmer. But this is my swimming cap. That was me when I was a senior in high school. Isn't that funny how they made you look so clean and your hair perfectly combed? I never looked like that. But that was me when I was a senior in high school. And these are napkins from when we went to a reception at the White House. And when it was President Bush and Mrs. Bush, the original Mr. Bush. Oh, this is a funny one. This is my mother's tooth. Can you see it? It's kind of broken, but my grandmother found her little teeth when they came out and stuck them in the eyes of this little minstrel singer. And this is Heather's hair in here, our daughter when she was little, her locks of hair. And here's one of our boxes that we made. Oh, looks like there's messages in here. Wow. Well, this is my driver's license. I wondered where that went. See when I had dark hair? And this is a silkworm. Look at this beautiful cocoon. There's a silkworm in there. And this, I wonder what this is. This was sent to me by my nanny when I grew up in California. And she sent this to me when I was still a little girl. Hello, Vicki. Haven't written in some time. Now is as good as any. I have about 15 minutes to spare, I think. This will be the longest letter I have ever written. Of the 14 houses on Montclair Way, only 7 will have the same people as when you left. Myra found a small mouse up at the country club. She will probably tell you about that. We have a garden at the side of my house, which has radishes, lettuce, cantaloupe, scallions, hot dog, that's what hot dog onions were then, scallions, carrots, watermelon, and honeydew growing in it. The last 2 melons probably won't grow. We had to wait too late in the summer to plant them. Not enough room. We've eaten everything but the scallions and cantaloupes, which should be ready next week. If Parent Trap ever comes to Madison, that was in Indiana, be sure to see it. The girl in question, the one the twins' father almost married, whose name is Vicky, reminds all of us of your mom. It's a very funny movie. Don't miss it. How are the pigs? I used to raise pigs. How are all your animals? We also used to raise steers and goats and chickens. What do people do for excitement during the summer back there? We have, you know what we used to do for summer excitement? We would go to the shop, like an old shop, and outside the shop was an ice box, and in it were blocks of ice, like this big, like a square, blocks of ice. We would go get a block of ice out of it. You just opened up the door and took out a block of ice. It was for putting in your own ice boxes. And we would put a towel over it and put it at the top of the meadows and slide down the green meadows in the hot summer nights. And as we slid, the block of ice would get smaller and smaller, and you knew it was time to go home when the block of ice was too small to slide on anymore. So that's what we did for excitement in Madison. Also, we used to go to the dump and shoot rats. That was my favorite thing to do. I had a friend who had a convertible car, and we would get our shotguns and go shine the headlights on the rats and shoot them. And it was like being in a Western, because off of all the other cars, the bullets would, bounce and make that zinging sound. It was so funny. Anyway, that's what people do for excitement during the summer back there. We have a tree fort. How about you? Have you been boating or rafting? Yes, we used to make our own rafts like Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. That reminds me of the rat in Wind in the Willows. You should read it. Are there more people with freckles back there? It seems to me there would be, sort of like Huckleberry Finn. I had freckles, so she always wondered if I had any other friends who had freckles. Sort of like Huckleberry Finn. Do the boys play baseball? It seems to me that they would play Civil War games instead of cowboys. Do they? I don't think they played Civil War games. School will be starting soon. I bet you are one of the best in your class. Goodbye. Hope to see you again. Dee Dee. Wow, I haven't read that in maybe 60 years. That's so fun. I didn't even remember that it was there, or even remember it until right now. This could take the rest of the video, just rolling this up. Dun 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 dun. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Oh, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Even in the back hall of an attic, we used to take such beautiful care. I love how all the details of the woodwork are so important, and just how they all come together. I didn't really, I guess maybe I don't know if I appreciated it as much, but I must have. It's just fun to see it again like this. Okay, my friends, I think it's a good time to say goodbye. I'm not sure where this video started or where it ended, but it definitely has to end now. So I'm going to go down here, down this passageway where I think I might have shown it before, but it used to have framed drawings of heathers on all the walls. Now it's just the walls by themselves. And these stairs are very steep, attic stairs. This one's about 1 foot tall, and I rather like it. It's so much fun. So I can either go out this door or into this closet. So long.